Welcome back to the School Leadership Brief. Today is Monday, February 16th, and I'm glad you're here. So today, let's talk about the casual bombshell. In leadership, it is rarely about the volume of your voice. It's about how you manage the room's oxygen. And there's a specific communication maneuver I've seen used everywhere, from the principal's office to the West Wing. Once you see it, you'll realize it's been the invisible architecture of many of the meetings you've sat through. So we're calling it the casual bombshell. By the way, quick sidebar, if you're catching this on social and want the full deep dive experience, head over to genexplorerhq.substack.com. That's genexplorerhq.substack.com. You can grab the audio podcast version of our episodes there and join the conversation with other leaders who are tired of the usual script. So, back to the case study, and you are going to love, I've got a great case study for you here. All right, so over the weekend, Brian Tyler Cohen interviewed Barack Obama, and he asked him if aliens are real. So I'm going to let you take a listen to this, and then we'll talk.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
All right. He was asked if aliens are real. He said, they're real, but I haven't seen any, and he kept going. He didn't lean in. He didn't whisper. He responded with the same tone you'd use to describe a decent turkey sandwich. And then he just kept talking. No dramatic pause, no wait for it. He delivered what in any other context would be a global headline and treated it like a side note. That wasn't a slip of the tongue. That was a masterclass in temperature control. So what are the mechanics of this? In communication research, this is often called strategic normalization. The goal isn't to hide the news. It's to deny the news its event status. The rhythm is simple. First, the drop. Deliver high-stakes information in a neutral, matter-of-fact tone. Second, the momentum. Don't pause. Don't signal that the audience should react. Third, the advance. Keep moving so the audience's brain is forced to process the next sentence, not the bombshell you just dropped. By the time the room fully registers what was said, the conversation has already moved on. The collective reaction never synchronizes. You've prevented a riot by simply refusing to acknowledge there's anything to riot about. So what does this mean for the school context? If you're in school leadership, you've probably seen this done. You may have done it yourself. Having to deliver news like, there are going to be pink slips. We're looking at a 10% reduction next year. Or we're sunsetting the IB program this fall. Or we're moving to a zero-based budget for all of the departments. Drop, move on. When it's done intentionally, it is a stabilizer. It prevents a 4 o'clock staff meeting from devolving into a 3-hour grievance cycle. It maintains systemic calm. But here's the rub. In schools, trust is the only currency that actually matters. When a leader uses a casual bombshell, they aren't just managing the room, they are curating the emotional response. People, especially teachers, can smell that a mile away. If your stakeholders realize 3 weeks later that you glossed over their livelihood while talking about the master schedule, then the fallout isn't going to be just about the decision. It's about the delivery. And they're not going to just think the decision was bad. They're going to think you were being slick. So the real question for us this week isn't whether the technique works. It does. It works. The question is, Are you stabilizing the system, or are you just dampening a necessary reaction? There are moments when collective processing is essential. Staffing changes aren't just lines on a spreadsheet. They are livelihoods and mortgage payments. Changing a grading policy isn't just a technical tweak. It's a fundamental shift in what we tell a student they're worth. And a safety update? That isn't compliance. That's the thin line of trust that keeps a community from fracturing. Sometimes the most leaderly thing you can do is to let the silence hang. To drop the bombshell and then sit there in the discomfort. And let the room feel exactly what it needs to feel. So the casual bombshell is a tool. It's not a strategy. Because while tone shapes perception, presence builds trust. And that is today's brief. For more analysis like this, and to listen to the audio version of this episode on the go, visit genexplorerhq.substack.com. Subscribe there to get these insights delivered straight to your inbox every week. And I will see you on the next one.